Before we start this video, I just want to let you guys know if this video does keep monetization, I'm going to be donating all of the AdSense to Rain, because we're going to be talking about things that are really disgusting, and also because most of this video is talking about Emily Artful's video where she discusses a lot of really just traumatizing stuff that happened to her. I don't feel comfortable making money off of this video, so I do just want to say that right off the bat. So I'm going to donate any proceeds I make to Rain, and I will leave a link for them down below so that you can donate to if you would like to. It's one of my favorite organizations. They help victims of sexual assaults. 10 out of 10 would go donate. Hi friends. So hi. Today's video, we're talking about something that I have a bit of a personal connection with. And it's also a situation that honestly makes me there's a lot of emotions. Very disappointed, very sad, hurt. There's a lot. And before we get into it, I just want to kind of explain, I guess, any sort of bias. I don't even think this is going to be a bias, but it's more just the way that personally I was affected by this situation a little bit, just because I think that's important to the context of everything. But today we're going to be talking about everything that's been going on with Shannon from Creepshow Art and everything that's been brought to light and just sort of everything to do with that. So the very first thing I want to talk about is explaining just for a second. I mean, this information, I believe it first dropped a week ago. I want to talk about why it took me personally a minute to speak on this. And obviously I can't speak for everybody that's involved in this situation. I can't speak for people she was even closer to than me, because at the end of the day, her and I weren't best friends, you know. It wasn't my closest YouTube confidant, but it was a person that I had talked to multiple times over the past few years, and somebody that I trusted, and somebody that we talked a lot about, not even stuff with YouTube, but just we talked a lot about anxiety and mental health and things like that. And the sort of betrayal that I felt seeing everything come to light, and the pain that I felt knowing this person that I had talked to and trusted and really liked, knowing what they were doing behind the scenes, was really difficult. It was that's the best way to put it. It was just difficult. It was difficult to come to terms with. It was difficult that it was a person that I first heard of Creepshow Art when she did a video on The Rewired Soul. She mentioned me in that video. She mentioned my Twitter account, and through that we started talking, and this was a couple of years ago. Like I said, we have never been besties. We've never been close friends, but over the years, sporadically, we would just have conversations. She shouted out my palette a bunch of times on her Instagram. And also, I just want to say, because now there's this sort of weird narrative being talked about of a sock account that I'm following on Instagram. Number one, I don't follow that account anymore. Number two, that account, I believe the account is called See You Soon but Not Too Soon, and I don't think I'm exposing anything by posting that account. Yeah, I don't think I'm exposing anything by posting that account, because I think a lot of people have shared that account at this point. But that account was not, I think it's being, because of everything with Emily Artful's video, I understand why there's confusion. That account was not a sock puppet account. That account was Shannon's private Instagram, and I followed it back when we were friends, as I'm sure a lot of creators who are currently following it did. Shannon posted on Instagram that she had this account. It was her private account. It was going to be for more personal posts, and so we followed it. I followed it. I know tons of people who have second Instagram accounts or second Twitter accounts that I follow. So that wasn't weird to me. Even now, given the context of everything that's happened with Emily Artful, I still don't think that Instagram account, it's not weird to me that it exists. It's very obviously Shannon, and everybody following it knew it was Shannon, and we all followed it when we were friends with her. So I do just want to say that briefly too. So that way there's no confusion on why. I saw a few posts about why was I following this Instagram account. I thought I was friends with Shannon, so I followed the account. Now that you kind of understand my relationship with Shannon, weren't besties, but had conversations, and I considered her somebody I trusted in the YouTube space. About a week ago, I guess there's a site called LolCow. I've never visited the site, so I didn't know of its existence, honestly. But the moderators announced that Shannon had been posting to the site and saying really horrible things about people that she was publicly friends with, Ready to Glare and Corpse Husband, and all these people that Edwin, people she was close with. She was talking badly about them on this site. And also on top of that, she was self-promoting herself on this site. She was also talking badly about herself on this site. And also in those posts, there was a ton of transphobic comments and transphobic language and just mean shit, like really, really mean. And Shannon initially, in response to this, made a whole community post basically saying that it was a stalker that she has had for years, and that this stalker has been posting, spoofing the IP address, and that is how this is all happening. And for a minute I was like, oh, because I saw Shannon's post before I saw any of the stuff on Twitter about like the lol cow stuff. So when I saw Shannon's post, initially I was like, oh my god, that's horrible, like somebody's impersonating you and all these things. And then the more I looked into it, the more I was like, well, that makes literally no sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. And none of it does. I'm gonna link below a channel named Omnia who made 2 really fantastic in-depth deep dives on this whole Shannon situation. They were so helpful to unpack everything that happened for me personally, because it was very confusing. So I'm gonna link those down below. It became more and more clear as just like logically you think about it. Number one, would a stalker be posting for 3 years on a random part of the internet, not really implicating you, promoting your videos and promoting your like paid for content, also kind of shit talking you, but also shit talking all of the people you're friends with, doxing your sister? Like, why would somebody do that for 3 years on the off chance that maybe the admins at lolcow would expose that it was you? Like, if that plan makes no sense. There's nothing about that that makes any sort of sense. And from what I've gathered from people who are friends with Shannon behind the scenes, they have tried to get answers from her about this, and she's not speaking. She's not giving answers. She's not giving evidence that this is what happened. There's nothing. After people didn't believe this response, which quite frankly, I do not believe a word of that response. After people did not believe it, she basically said that she was going to be shutting down her channel until she could come back and like legally prove and go through the legal route of this to prove that it wasn't her. And all I have to say to that is like, that's okay, but like, and honestly, I would love it if you could come back and prove that all of this was some stalker, but that still wouldn't address the Emily Artful situation. Before I get into what happened with Emily Artful and before I get into her video, I do just want to express, like, I'm sorry if this video is a little all over the place and a little scattered. I'm trying my best to like collect my thoughts here, but I'm just so mind fucked by everything that's happened the past week. I want to express, like, I don't think Shannon's audience will ever get an apology from Shannon for this. I don't think she's ever gonna apologize, but like, I am so deeply hurt and so sorry for her fan base, especially her fan base that is part of the trans community, who felt like her channel was this like safe place, who felt like she supported them and uplifted them, and it was like a safe place to go because she was such an advocate for that stuff online. And to see the way that she talked behind the scenes and the way that she talked on these sites where she thought she was anonymous, that performativeness was so fucking fake. And I'm so disgusted and hurt for her audience that trusted her. Like, not even just friends and people who knew her behind the scenes, her audience. The pain and distrust that you're probably feeling right now is so fucking valid, and I'm so fucking hurt that this all happened. Like, I'm so hurt and disgusted by her actions and the way that she made people feel so safe on the internet and the way that she cultivated this audience. And it was all a lie. It was all a lie. I really would like to speak about Emily's video, but you have to watch it. Like, if you're unsure about what's going on, if you don't know, watch Emily's video. It is so, I understand that it's long. I get that 2 hours is a long video. It is so thorough and well done. The bravery that she has to be as candid as she absolutely was in that video is astounding. I'm gonna link her video in the description, and I think you should absolutely go watch it. There was a bunch of points that she hit on, and they're all important. Every single point was important. The major point of Emily's video was basically to discuss and talk about how she had known Shannon in real life before Shannon started YouTube, and Shannon is now dating or married to one of Emily's ex-partners. Emily described and proved that Shannon and her husband had been harassing, stalking, everything for years. And I mean, the details, there's so many details. It's such an in-depth video, and that's why I think you should watch it. But a big takeaway for me, Emily is in recovery. And as someone who's also in recovery, I was so hurt and disgusted. Like, truly, it was like a level of disgust I have not felt in a long time about internet stuff. I was disgusted at the way that her addiction and sobriety was to be used against her, and was trying to be used to destroy her, and was trying to be used to, they had her lose jobs. Like, they tried to start rumors about her online. They attacked her and relentlessly harassed her. They went to her city, like, and Emily said she feels like a lot of it is because she was addicted to drugs, and they're trying to, like, have retribution for that. The person that you are, and I loved how Emily put this because it was so well stated, of you're still the same person that you were when you're actively in addiction. And that's just the best way to put it. The person that you are when you're in active addiction and the person that you are later once you're out of that is a complete evolution of the person you once were. It's not that you aren't the same person, it's just an evolution of that. And so to see that used against her constantly, every time she was trying to do something, every time she had something positive happen, to see Shannon attack her every single time she had something positive going for her, I can't even fucking imagine. Like, I can't even fucking imagine that happening. And it's scary. Like, it's terrifying. That's a terrifying person, and that's a terrifying thing to do to another human being who is just trying to get their fucking life back on track, who has a family. Like, I can't even fathom. I also just want to say, and I forgot to mention this in the this part, but the other thing that was huge that was talked about was that Shannon's current husband took advantage of and raped Emily Artful. So Shannon, on top of everything else that she has done herself, her husband has done disgusting and horrific things. And it appears that Shannon is aware of a lot of those things and is just, like, with him regardless. So that is another important point to bring up in this situation. What that was like for her. And I empathize so strongly with everything she talked about. It's like, it's sickening. It's so, the way that Shannon treated Emily is sickening. It's skin crawling. It's like a disgusting way to treat another human being. And it's not even that I can't believe it. I believe Emily. I cannot believe that this was the person who had a successful channel trying to hold other people accountable. Nobody should have stuff that they went through in the past held over them in this sick and twisted way. It's just gross. I highly recommend you watch Emily's video. I can't state that strongly enough, but I want to make it very clear that I believe and support Emily. She had proper receipts. The conversations that she showed with Shannon when she finally confronted Shannon were honestly, like, skin crawling. Like, the way that Shannon talked about things and the way that Shannon tried to manipulate things, it was so glaringly obvious that that's what she was doing, and it's just sick to me. Like, the whole thing is sick. I truly hope, because I can't imagine the anxiety about releasing a video like that, but I really truly hope that that was, like, a cathartic experience for her. I truly hope that the support that she's been met with lets her know that, like, this is not okay. What happened to her was not okay. It was vile. And on top of that, I can't imagine from Emily's perspective seeing someone like Shannon just absolutely thrive on the internet and what she knows about her behind the scenes. I can't imagine how difficult that would have been to see Shannon being praised and to see Shannon being uplifted and supported, knowing that she's made her life a living hell behind the scenes. Like, I can't even, it's all so unfathomable that this is happening. One thing I do want to just touch on before I end this is I do feel compelled to somewhat defend the people who are friends with Shannon behind the scenes. People like Ready to Glare. Like, I genuinely believe that people like Ready to Glare and Loey and, like, I genuinely believe that they are also victims in this situation. People close to Creepshow, I genuinely feel, are victims of this manipulation, of this trickery. Like, I feel like when you trust someone that much and you have so much trust in that person, to then find out these horrific things about them and to find out what they've been doing behind the scenes and to find out the way they've been treating people, find out the way they've been talking about other people, like, that is a mind fuck. Like, these people who were friends with Shannon are real people, and they are now caught up in this massive web of lies and manipulation and not knowing what to believe, not knowing what's true. I know even just personally, I've had conversations with Shannon about like mental health and anxiety, and I'm questioning every single thing I ever said to her. I'm questioning, like, was she actually dealing with anxiety? Was she actually empathizing with me when I talked about that with her? Or was she turning around and laughing behind my back about me? Was she talking shit about me behind my back? Was she just making fun of me basically the entire time I was talking about that? You don't know, because we're all just caught up in this massive web of lies, and it fucking sucks. The people that were closest to her are also victims in this situation, and they deserve a fucking minute to breathe and unpack everything that's been happening. They do. I'm sorry. Like, I truly think that every situation when this type of stuff happens, every single one is different. This isn't as cut and dry as like, oh, old tweets came out. This is, I cannot trust a single thing that this person has ever said to me now. You cannot trust a single thing. That's heartbreaking for people who have been incredibly close with her. At the end of the day, honestly, and I don't think Shannon's ever gonna come back, at least not with Creepshow art. Who knows if they're back already with like a different, who knows? But I don't think they're ever gonna come back with Creepshow art, and I don't think she should. I don't think she should come back with Creepshow art. I don't. You cannot be the internet's moral compass and be this commentary or drama channel. Behind the scenes, you are doing shit that is this vile. You can't be both. I'm not saying that commentary and drama channels have to be perfect, because nobody is perfect. This is beyond just like a mistake. This is years of documented patterns of behavior that are sickening. And I really hope that Shannon does get help. Like, I really do. I hope that she gets help. Emily mentioned this in her video, and I thought it was a great point, that sometimes you have to be at rock bottom to look at yourself in the mirror and to figure out the mistakes that you've made and to really make those changes to make yourself into a better person. And I hope that that's what's happened to her, but I do not under any circumstances think that she deserves the platform that she has now. Absolutely not. You can't try to ruin another creator's life for years and then expect to pop back on being like the moral compass of the drama and commentary. You can't do it. I'm sorry. This whole situation is so sad and so sick and so disgusting. And I just genuinely, like, I'm at a loss. Like, there's no positive outcome here, because I honestly think Shannon's just gonna be gone now. I don't think Shannon's even gonna try to come back after this. The only thing I can hope for is that people who were super, super close to her and people who were impacted by her negatively and people who were hurt by her, I just hope that they can fucking heal after this. I hope they see the support they have from the larger community in general and see that people support them and are there for them. Like, I hope that they can work through this and make this all better for themselves internally. Because externally, Shannon is losing a bunch of subscribers on a channel I very highly doubt she's ever gonna go back to. I love you guys. I hope that all made sense. I'm sorry if this was more jumbled than usual. My brain is like, it's hard to wrap your head around it. But I completely support and believe Emily, completely support and believe that it was her posting on lolcow, or at the very least it was her husband. Either way, completely believe that it was not some stalker. And I also think that Shannon is a very deceitful person, and it's very, very, very sad and sickening to see everything that's come out. So I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.